Hello, ladies. Good morning. How are you?
Good
Hello.
morning. Good, thanks.
It's
Thanks
so
for
fun. So we're actually recording this at like 8 o'clock in the morning on a Friday, which it's not early for me. I don't know if it's early for the two of you. Is that early or is that normal?
normal. Yeah, I'm up at 5 a.m. every morning.
So same, same. So yeah, all my listeners know it's an early bird kind of life over here for right now. Maybe not forever. But anyway, I'm so excited to talk to you ladies about this because it's so interesting how it came about. And I want people to know a little bit more about you. And then I want to, of course, talk about the Rehart Gesner Fund and what you're doing and our upcoming event, which is so exciting. So, Michelle, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
My name is Dr. Michelle Latour. I am a voice teacher in Las Vegas. I have been teaching, oh my gosh, this is my 33rd year teaching private voice lessons.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah. I started right after I finished my master's. Uh,
Amazing.
I was in academia for a long time. I was an associate professor at a university in Ohio. I taught
Mm,
state. I moved to Vegas in 2009 so that I could join the full-time voice faculty at UNLV.
mm.
I left that position in 2014 and have been teaching privately ever since. So I started the Latour Voice Studios LLC in 2016, and I get to sit at the piano bench all day and sing with clients and have my dog sleep under the piano. So really, really lucky to be able to pursue my passion and turn it into a business and be able to live off of it. All that.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. And PS friends, and I'm going to put everything in the description and in the comment section, but you have to see Michelle's dog, Jade. You literally have to, because actually he's the supervisor and the house manager of the lessons. And so just check out her socials, but don't worry, I'm going to leave all the socials. Okay, Miss Katie, I'm excited to hear about you because we are newer friends to each other. And I first met you last year when I got to hear your stunningly beautiful voice. And so I'm excited to hear more about you.
Okay. Hi. Yeah, I'm Katie Morris. And let's see, I have been in Vegas for a decade now. I'm from Oregon.
Oh,
Uh, yeah, I grew up singing, but left all music for about a decade. And in late 21, I decided I needed to sing again. So I was led to Michelle through an old college friend. I sang jazz in college for a while.
oh,
So
Like,
nice.
yeah, so he worked for Cirque and had heard about Dr. Latour. So I reached out and auditioned for her studio, and she graciously accepted me. She brought me back to my voice and to music. So that's been an amazing journey. I love to sing. I've got two really cute kitties. They're Bengal cats.
Yes, I
Um,
remember them.
oh,
Oh,
yeah, that's right. Yeah, you met them at the last event.
gorgeous.
I have a cute little Maltipoo dog. So
Mhm.
yeah, they're my little passions. I spend a lot of time with them. And other than that, I have no children, but I do really love my nieces and nephews, and I spend a lot of time with them too. So that's what I get to do during the days.
Oh my gosh, that's so fun. I love those cats. Ever since I saw yours in person, I told my husband I really want to consider getting a Bengal cat. I love cats. The boys are like, they're a little apathetic about cats, but not me. So that's so fun. And I love hearing how you found Michelle. It's interesting how, as voice teachers, um, Michelle, you can really attest to this. Like, we'll get random or really interesting recommendations, and then those students end up being literally a deep part of our life, and that's one of those offshoot benefits, right? That we never planned on and never really even realized. I'm so glad to know more about the two of you. And so, how did the Rehart Gesner Fund begin? I know that it's about your grandmothers. And then I would just love to hear, what were you just chatting one day over a glass of wine and then and then something, something. So please tell us that story.
So actually had a rehearsal with our accompanist Shane at my house before a recital last year or a year before. And he was like, "You really should do a recital in your house. It would sound beautiful." I was like, "Yeah, I think that would be really fun." So then, yeah, so in one of my lessons with Michelle, we started to discuss that. And one thing led to another. I emailed Michelle and I was like, a recital would be really cool, but maybe we should do it for a cause. And she's like, don't even get me started. Are you sure you want to jump into something like this? Crazy. And I was like, me too. So yeah, one thing led to another. And we were like, let's do it for something. We didn't know what at first. And I don't really remember how we even narrowed it down to benefit Las Vegas music teachers, but that's what it came to. And Michelle and I had both discussed and talked about our relationships with our grandmothers.
Mm.
And at the time, my grandmother had recently passed, and both of us were supported by our grandmothers in music. And so we thought, why don't we name it after them? So that's where it comes from. Rehart is Michelle's grandmother's last name, and Gesner was my grandmother's last name. So
I just love that.
oh, yeah.
I can imagine that conversation in the lesson, Michelle. I can just picture you like, wait, what? A cause?
Yeah, and it kind of organically grew out of these conversations, and
Mhm.
really was literally like, oh my God, are we sure we want to do this? It's going to be so much work. But we really wanted to honor our grandmothers. My grandmother was really important in my life. She passed away when I was in college, so
Mm.
quite a long time. So it's really been really wonderful to honor her and have her be the inspiration for all of this. She was a very cool woman. She actually was a buyer for a department store for costume jewelry. So my sister and I would fight over her jewelry when we were growing up, when we were, playing. So it's just really cool to be able to honor her legacy and honor the memory of her. But we really had no idea what we were getting into when we started this. We're like, oh, we'll do benefit. That'll be fun. Yeah. And I'm really fortunate. I have my studio's kind of split in half. I have high school and a few middle school students. They mostly do musical theater. And then my
Mhm.
adults are like semi-pro or avocational adults, or I
Mhm.
also do work with a lot of teachers. And so we got last year, I think 6 or 7 of the adult students were on board. So this benefit was a benefit, but also a recital. Part of the reason we wanted to give this scholarship for teachers is because we felt that younger students have lots of avenues to get scholarships,
Mhm.
and maybe music teachers didn't have that avenue. They're often, juggling a family, they're juggling their career. They might have not taken voice lessons since college. And if they graduated from college 5 to 10 years ago, they haven't had the chance to work on their own voice. My parents were both high school teachers, so I know how difficult it is to be a teacher. I actually taught high school English for 3 years at the high school I had attended, and my mom was also
Wow.
English faculty. And so I really knew firsthand how difficult it can be as a teacher. So it was kind of a no brainer to focus on Las Vegas public school music teachers. I think our most difficult challenge has been we're a really cool thing, and we feel like we're doing a really cool thing for people, but yet no one knows about us.
I know. It is so much work. You and I met a month ago, and I know you two have been talking, and I've been hearing the rumblings of it as in our conversations, Michelle. Almost half the year has been dedicated, right? But then really, we do all this work, and then who knows about us? What is happening, right? And also, that's interesting in terms of the scholarship that you're offering. I was thinking about this. It's almost like Nats is the only. I'm sure I shouldn't say only, but one of the more well-known avenues for that, right? And I know you have an article coming out in our next Internos, right?
Yes, I just had an article that appeared in Canvas Rebel, which was
Mhm.
cool. That was a really wonderful opportunity. And then Internos is featuring us in another article in the spring. We have another article coming out in April with Red Rock City Lifestyle magazine. So last year was really all about survival. Like
Yes.
we knew nothing about a silent auction. And I think I said to Katie, like maybe 6 weeks before, oh, we should do a silent auction. We knew nothing about how to price it. So, I'm Googling it like crazy, how to put this together, how to price it. So last year was all about putting out fires.
Mm.
This year, we've really tried to be better on the back end and I'm super organized and always
Mhm.
well in advance. So this year, it's like, okay, let's have some better deadlines. Let's kind of think ahead with stuff. So I feel like we've been more on top of it. And this year included how can we get the word out? And so trying to, be in articles. You're helping us with social media. Thank you very much. So just trying to be more of a presence in the community, so that teachers know about us. We've so far been able, well, last year we raised $35,000, which
I
is,
was gonna ask you, okay, what was that final number?
and our original goal was 5,000. And within the first week or so, we had almost 5,000. So we're like, we'll up our goal to 7,000. Well, we ended up making over $35,000.
Beautiful.
And so far we've been able to give scholarships to 6 teachers. So our scholarship application is going to open up again probably by the end of this month or the beginning of March.
Mhm.
Again, just trying to get the word out so that Las Vegas public school music teachers know this is something they can apply for.
I love that. And as we know, our teachers, I'm sure that this goes for a lot of different school districts around the United States. I'm sure everyone has war stories about their own district, but ours is we're in an upheaval right now, obviously, as I'm sure both of you know. And of course, all my teacher friends, this is obviously something that we could it could be a huge tangent and I won't derail us, but I will say that my favorite thing about this, to be very frank with you, is that we're uplifting teachers who, in my humble opinion, in all of society, are not recognized for the work that they do. And not to get sappy or cheesy, but quite frankly, we're putting our young humans into classrooms with teachers who are they've done their best to be prepared, and yet no one is hardly anyone. I shouldn't say no one. Hardly anyone is supporting them. And that's honestly, that's my favorite thing about it. And of course, music being often on the bottom of the list for so many things, which is so crazy because if we look at the cognitive value and what goes on in the brains, and then the correlations with math and music, these are all things that could derail us. But I think about those things and I wonder why we don't value music more, and and then of course value the teachers that are teaching it to our young people. I think that that is my favorite part of what you're doing, is uplifting those people, those teachers who are out there in the trenches and either want to improve their voice for their own self, which builds their self-esteem, which then makes them a better teacher, right? Or the literal part of that, which is knowing more about their passion of music and teaching. And so I love that. Now, I think you have a few associate teachers as well on your scholarship staff, if you will.
Yes, and just to point out about teachers a little bit, and Katie could maybe speak to this as well, is I'm working with 3 teachers right now, 2 of whom were not music ed in voice majors. So they got
Mhm.
degrees in music ed, but voice was not their primary instrument. So they had very little training in how to sing and how to teach singing.
Wow.
So I'll never forget one of them who's a flutist. She came to her first lesson and she was just crying because she's like, I can't believe that you're offering this to us. I'm so grateful. And so it's been really fun because she's learned how to sing. She's discovered she actually can sing and likes her voice. And we've also talked classroom strategies, like how to help her teach her kids. So that's been really
Mm.
fun. And then another student, Ashley, who was a voice performance major, she had not sang since the pandemic. So she was
Mm.
really focusing all of her energies on teaching, and after the pandemic just never really sang again. So it's been across the board really interesting because some teachers are doing this really for themselves. They've lost what their passion is, and so
Mm.
and for others it's like, I'm losing my voice every day. I start my teaching day and by the end of the day I sound like so
Mm.
how can I take care of my own voice? So a lot of it's been education on how to care for your voice and how to warm up and those kinds of things. So sorry, long answer there, but yes,
Eh.
once the word got out a little bit and more teachers started to apply, I'm very fortunate. My studio is very full. I realize I can't handle any more students in my schedule.
Mm.
So we hired or we contract 2 additional master teachers to teach students. So Kimberly Canitz
Mm.
is one who is wonderful. And she also can do self-laryngeal massage with students. And then the other one is Dr. Kimberly James, who's been one of my friends for a long time, and she's on faculty at UNLV.
Yes.
So there's 3 of us now.
Oh, that's fantastic. I love hearing that. This is honestly, ladies, this is something that I think, we're bootstrapping it, right? We are 100% grassrootsing it. It just takes effort, and most people don't want to put in that effort to grow something like this. And so I love that you're doing this. And I think so I would love to hear about more about the teachers who are benefiting from this. What else can you tell us? I loved hearing about the flutist. So ladies, I would love to hear more about the teachers who have so far benefited from this wonderful fund that you have put together.
We've extended scholarships to 6 teachers. I've been working with 3. One, Ashley, who I'd mentioned, was a performer and has not, and I mentioned as well, had not performed since the pandemic. So it's really fun for her to discover her voice again. And as you get older, your technique changes. So for her to kind of rediscover where her voice is now. So I've been having a lot of fun just exploring and experimenting with sound. And she is going to be one of the performers on the recital in April. So yes, so she's actually performing. The other 2 I've been working with, one is a flutist who I'd mentioned, and the other is a violinist. And so it's been really rewarding to work with them. And then the 3 other scholarship recipients, one is actually the director of bands at LVA, and he uses his voice all the time in demonstrating for his students. So he wanted a better technique for that. 2 other students have been teachers for a long time and were also performers, but wanted to get back to exploring their own voice. One is a single mom and just doesn't have a lot of time for herself. So this has been a blessing for her to be able to carve out this time every week to talk for our own voice. And the other aspect of this, again, as we've gone through this, we've really learned through this process. And one of the things that I started to discover is that these voice teachers needed more than just lessons, that these music teachers needed someone with a higher level of expertise to see if there's something going on with their voices, if there's some kind of pathology or allergies, deal with the vocal loss. So I'm very fortunate to have established a previous relationship with Dr. Reena Gupta, who, if you're a singer, you totally know who she is. She is a really renowned laryngologist with a practice in Los Angeles. And thanks to Michelle Johnson, another amazing Las Vegas person who we all love so much, she's one of my favorite people, she convinced Dr. Gupta to start coming to Las Vegas. So Dr. Gupta comes once a quarter. And when Dr. Gupta was here about 6 months ago, I mentioned to her, like, hey, I have these teachers. I think they would really benefit from working with you. So we worked out a package for this. And so Rehart Gesner was able to pay for full voice screenings for 5 teachers. Yeah, these normally cost $550 a pop.
Absolutely.
And Dr. Gupta does not accept insurance, which she doesn't need to because she's that good. And so we were able to have 5 teachers meet with her. And what was even more amazing is I got to sit in on those appointments with my students. So Dr. Gupta and I could come up with, here's what we're seeing. Like, for instance, one of them who's a violinist, we both came to this at the same time. Like, she has some more muscle tension on one side from holding her violin for all
Of
these.
course.
So that changes how I work with her in her voice lessons. And further, Dr. Gupta has also speech language pathologist on her team, Tressa Cox. And Tressa came for this last visit in January, and a couple of the teachers really needed voice therapy. And so we were able to just seamlessly go from the appointment to a voice therapy session with Tressa. And now Tressa, Dr. Gupta, and I are all on this team working with these teachers. So it was amazing. And just like I was geeking out, like looking at vocal folds and the stroboscopy and all of this, and then geeking out with Tressa on a plan on how to work with teachers moving forward. But Rehart Gesner paid for all of it.
That is incredible. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I cannot, that literally, that is the whole point of this, right? And believe me, friends, we're going to talk about money and how you can be a part of this and help. But that takes my breath away, honestly, Michelle, because to work with her, Dr. Gupta, that's incredible. That's an unbelievable opportunity.
Yeah, I got to sit in a room with her because I had other students that saw her too that day for like 5 hours. And then as Dr. Gupta and I were talking, and Katie was on the same page with this, we're actually going to start a separate scholarship fund
Mm.
for vocal health. So eventually, it's not up and running yet, but when people donate, you can donate to the bigger fund, or you can earmark your donation to this new fund that we're going to start that will go specifically towards vocal health and voice screenings and voice therapy for CCSD music teachers that need that additional help in getting their voices healthy.
That is, honestly, it makes my eyes water because I don't remember if you know my personal story, but I have a small blip that I was born with in my voice, and that's why it's a little crunchy, and it is interesting, but it always made for very interesting lessons and vocal health on my part. And so if I had had that opportunity or even the knowledge back then to go get something like that so that people I could say, no, it's not that I've been misusing my voice. It is this. And then we could have moved forward. Obviously, the voice is so important. I obviously have a huge passion about it, but it's how we communicate and how we teach and how we love and how I could get crazy about that. But that's why I feel so strongly about the voice and what it can do and how it changes lives. Just you can just by listening to somebody talk or sing, or you yourself speak or sing. It's crazy. Oh, you ladies are doing such cool things. Okay, I want to. By the way, I'm going to put all of those. I know I said it earlier, but especially Dr. Gupta. I'll be honest. I sent her, and she performed surgery on one of my very treasured students in Los Angeles, and with an amazing outcome. I feel so blessed to know about her and that she took such good care of this very treasured student. So it was an incredible experience. So if anyone ever needs to ask about vocal surgery and how that all went about, I'm happy to privately talk about that with you. So let's move on to talk about the event and how I want to hear literally everything. How you've put it together. I know you have auction bidding things, and I want to talk about how we can. I know you've mentioned that now there'll be ways that you can earmark the money. What is happening with the money? How can we give that? Of course, there'll be a link, duh. And so tell me all about that, Katie. I know you're going to talk about this.
I am. So we're super excited for this year's event. It's going to be April 14th. It is a private event, but luckily we have technology and we get to live stream it. So we'll be live streaming it through our Give Butter page, which is actually where you can donate as well. Everything's in one place, which is nice.
Beautiful.
And then that's also where you'll find our silent auction items, which are going to be available to view and to bid on before the event, a month before. So March 14th, which is coming up, and that's super exciting. We have a number of really amazing items from local businesses. I think a couple of my favorites are Flowers by Michelle is going to deliver a flower arrangement every month for a year to sell. I know. That's like my favorite one. I couldn't believe that they donated that. Yeah. And you'll be able to see their arrangements because they're doing them for the event as well. So
Nice.
yeah, so that's really exciting. Another one that I'm excited about is Maverick Helicopters donated, a tour for 2 people. So
Oh my gosh.
it's kind of funny. It was scary to ask people to donate, but we have been so surprised and humbled that everyone's like, of course we'll donate. Of course we'll give something to teachers. So that's been a really great part of this. So yeah, so the event 5 to 7 p.m. April 14th, we have 7 singers. Michelle had mentioned that one of them is a Rehart Gesner scholarship recipient. And we have an amazing cellist who's actually also the chef who's going to cater the event.
That food was so good. I'm interrupting you, but that food was so good. Oh my goodness.
So we had to have him back, and he's going to be performing with us. In fact, one piece he's going to do with me, Elegie by Massenet. So I'm excited for that.
We had a lot of fun actually talking about menu items, doing Korean deviled eggs. And we have this orange Nutella cup dessert thing. So we've got some amazing meatballs coming back. So yeah, he and his wife are truly amazing. So Jeremy is doing Elegy with Katy, and then Stevie, who is also a CCSD teacher. He's doing 2 songs with her for voice, piano, and cello. And then what's also really cool, Shane Jensen, who is our pianist, I joke he's like my work husband because we've been now working together since 2010. We're
Literally.
The only two that can stand each other. We make jokes and lessons, and everyone's like rolling their eyes, like, "Oh God, here they go again." He's an amazing person, and he is also a composer. He has his own website, and he just had a CD that dropped last week that's on Spotify and YouTube. Yeah, it's crazy. He's got this whole little side hustle that he doesn't tell anyone about.
Oh my gosh, make sure I have those links so I can put them in here.
I will include that. And we should include Jeremy's website too, because he's wonderful caterer and has a really
I
wonderful.
would love to.
Shane wrote a piece during the pandemic called The Grade Chair for piano and cello, and they are going to perform it on the recital, and it will be the world premiere because it's never been performed live.
I'm so excited, friends. I have to be honest. I get to go, so whatever. Sorry if you're jelly. But
Bring your husband this time. So
yes, and I'm bringing my husband, and it's so crazy that I get to work these events and then attend and then be, and I don't know. Thank you, God, is all I continuously say for this super fun life, like being around music and good people like yourselves and doing stuff, pretty food and wine. Yes, indeed. And
Right. We felt that talking about because most people are only going to be able to live stream. So they'll just get to see us eat the yummy food and drink the yummy wine. But hopefully next year we will find a bigger venue
yes,
because my house can only hold so many guests. But the bigger the venue, the more guests we can have. So
I was wondering if that was on the docket. So
Yeah.
that's,
has a good venue.
well,
Yes.
of course, now I'm like,
So,
okay.
yeah, before we go, we'll have to wrap up. We've got some tentative, exciting plans, for our future as we look ahead. And then also about the recital, 4 of our 8 singers are CCSD music teachers. And then Dina Emerson is also singing, and she's the backup singer for O. She's truly amazing. She's doing some really cool. She's doing a song called "The Chicken" that will have everybody crying. It's a song about the chicken crossing the road to get to the other side. Like it's just like it's funny and poignant and heartbreaking. It's amazing. It's written by Bo Burnham. The coolest song ever.
I just got goosebumps because I've heard her perform it before and it's amazing.
It's really amazing. And then we have some beloved duets as well. Katy and Hey Yun are going to do a duet by Craig Carnelia. Stevie and Nicole are doing a duet from Così fan tutte. And then, of course, we're having Ashley, who's one of the scholarship recipients, and Hey Yun, they're doing The Prayer.
Oh, what a great mix of music. I mean, well, friends, you should follow the account, Rehart Gesner Fund, on Instagram, because I'll be storying all of those things. And so you could, at the very least, get a little bit of a taste of the incredible work that these ladies are doing and the incredible event that they have put together. And quite frankly, the incredible talents of our teachers that are teaching your children. I mean, I just keep going back to that, right? It's an amazing thing. It's just thrilling. Okay, I want to make sure, did we say everything? Do we miss anything? Is there something else that you want to add?
I just want to point out the flowers by Michelle. Rediscovered them. Nevin, my husband, surprised me with flowers about 6 or 7 months ago, and they were like virtually the most beautiful flowers I have ever received.
Wow.
And I'd sent Katy a picture of them and said, "This is who we need to have for our flowers." And again, this whole asking thing, I hate asking for help. But Michelle really, was like, of course we want to donate to teachers. They don't get enough
Support.
and recognition in the community. And her package is worth about $1,000.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, what she said was the world is really needing and is thirsty for goodness. And what better way to, what better way to create that than to nurture talent? And that is part of our motto, which is providing opportunities to nurture the artist within. So to have somebody on the other end of the phone, see what we're doing and appreciate, I want to give too. It's really rewarding for us. So,
yeah.
Well, ladies, I'm glad that it's rewarding for you. And also it's incredible. I hope that you get a little bit of goodness, your personal selves out of this because of what you're doing. Okay, let's talk about money for a second. So we're going to put the links in the description, of course. But I think the important thing to note is that I would love to hear, because I know you're not a traditional nonprofit yet. I believe that's coming in your future plans. And if somebody donates money, what is the percentage that goes towards the actual teacher scholarship?
Honestly, last year, Katie and I personally funded. I mean, it was like a startup, and we believe so passionately in it that we're like, well, we're just going to spend our own money getting this off the ground.
Mhm.
And then again this year, we've tried to be better about that, but people have been really, the generosity of the community has been incredible. One of my high school students, his father works for a beverage company, and they gifted us a case of alcohol. So we had a case of alcohol, and then I again rated my wine cellar, and
Yeah.
I've got a bottle of Opus One that I'm donating. I've got some Silver Oak that I'm donating. I have another bottle of Dom Perignon that I'm donating. So a lot of it's, stuff that we've had. I had like a gift, and like we have gift cards. So like I had a gift card for Neiman Marcus, and so I was able to purchase some of the silent auction items that way. I had a gift card from Total Wine, and so I bought a Coravin to pair with one of our Magnums. So pretty much we have to pay for flowers, we have to pay the caterer, we're paying for social media help, but really everything that we have is going towards scholarships. And we've even talked to some like marketing firms or some people that wanted to help us, but we at the end of the day we're like, we would really love this help, but that money we felt very strongly needs to go towards scholarships because that's what we want to do.
That's fantastic to hear. And I know that you're giving so much. And that's why I wanted to really highlight that, because when people are doing good things, they need our help and they need our assistance, friends. And that to me it's the best way. The best way to give back to your community is to look inside that community and see what they're doing. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with all of the big places and charities that we give our monies to. And certainly there's nothing wrong with that. But for me, for my personal opinion, it's things like this that I guess because I see it. I'm see it in my own community. I'm seeing the help that you're giving teachers and what you're doing. And that to me is literally the most important thing that we can do is look inside our communities and figure out how to help them and lift them up and raise them up. And that is indeed what you ladies have done. So I'm just so glad to have you here this morning talking about all of this. I just love it. I can't wait to come to your event and listen to all that gorgeous music. Dina is one of my favorite. I think I told you that. She speaks to me in crazy ways. But anyway, ladies, thanks for taking the time today to talk about this with me. And I wish you so much good luck, and I'm going to continue to work really hard for you. And friends, I will put everything in the description. Please consider any dollars that you have. We're in the place where anything that you can give is so appreciated on any level, from small to big, from great to huge. We could use all of it. These ladies have worked countless hours putting this all together. So ladies, I'm so grateful for you to be here today. Thank you for coming. And I will see you. Well, I'll see you before, but officially I'll see you on April 14th.
See you.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much for giving us this time today. Really appreciate it.
Pleasure, friends. Pleasure. Okay.